Well, and that's why you have, I would kind of pseudo spirituality in many parts of the
Mm,
world, Western world now. People are very interested in Buddhism, Hinduism, meditation, uh, Taoism. I myself, during my journey, read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, which is an interesting book. He brought some Eastern philosophies to the West. Someone like Alan Watts is perhaps more famous in the UK. Um, and one thing I think people are realizing is this cold, unromantic view of the world and of human beings doesn't fit well with what human beings actually need.
mm,
This idea of looking for meaning in a meaningless world, the absurdist argument that I think Thomas Nagel is kind of described. We need something to plug that gap. Science doesn't offer it to us as much as it may try. We can't look to science, and even though someone like Sam Harris tries to, it's really hard to look to science for morality, an explanation of aesthetics, of other really essential things to the condition of the human being.
mm,
And by what I think scientism has done is made the human being very one-dimensional.
mm,
If you are purposeless, fundamentally purposeless, then it's really hard to figure out how you should live your life and what you should do with your life, and what your daily practices should be. And what I do see a lot is a kind of sadness within human beings in general, but within a lot of people who don't have religious framework. I see a lot of trying to distract yourself from what you view as the suffering around you in the world, or you don't have a way to cope with it that's very sophisticated. You may engage in is kind of like soft hedonism. It's kind of, as long as I'm not hurting other people, but I'm seeking pleasure, and I'm in a job that I feel like is enjoyable, then that's the way I should try and live my life. But it still doesn't work for most people. And if you look at depression in the United Kingdom, which is where we live, it's on the rise, and by 2030 it will be the biggest kind of illness, according to some of the NHS statistics. So it seems like this one-dimensional, cold view, I call it cold and unromantic view
mm, mm.
of human beings, rooted in what was up until recently, I would say, holding science as the only form of knowledge which is acceptable, or the only type of belief which is certain. I think that's something
Yeah.
as well.
Mm.
Really doesn't help us very much as human beings.